Hello and a warm welcome to Federal special program Capital Beat. Rajasthan election campaign ended today at 5 p.m. and Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in Mathura in the evening to visit the Krishna Janma Bhoomi. He also took part in the Brajraj festival where he celebrated the 525th birth anniversary of the mystic poet Mirabai. Now, why is BJP suddenly giving a push to Krishna Janma Bhoomi? Why is it focusing on Mirabai? There's a political question to that as well. But Prime Minister Modi's visit comes 2 days after Allahabad High Court gave an approval to the construction plan of Banke Bihari Temple Corridor. Now, the biggest question is that apart from the political symbolism around Krishna Janma Bhoomi and of course Mirabai, is there something beyond this? And why I'm saying is because there are certain areas of Rajasthan like Dholpur, Karoli, Deeg, Bharatpur. Now, these are areas which are very, very close to Mathura. So, is there something more political than what we are expecting? We'll talk about that as well. I'm joined by senior journalist and editor Javed Ansari. Thank you, sir, so much for joining. We have senior journalist and editor Sharad Gupta and Pushpraj Deshpande, who's the director of the Samrit Bharat Foundation. Thank you so much and welcome all of you. And let me begin with Javed-ji. Javed-ji, why do you think that BJP is suddenly giving a push to Krishna Janma Bhoomi and Mirabai, of course, because we haven't seen ever BJP talking about Mirabai. We've never seen the party celebrating Mirabai's birth anniversary. All of a sudden, the love for Mirabai?
Look, the BJP being in government, the BJP has an advantage. The Prime Minister has an advantage of even continuing to campaign indirectly, even once formal campaigning has come to an end in the states. He did that in Bengal, he's done that in other states. While the Bengal elections, once the campaigning had ended, he visited Sheikh Hasina in Bangladesh. He could have gone anytime, but he went there. Similarly, similar is the case here. He's pushing that button. He does believe that in the areas that you just listed for us, there is some traction to be had from association with Mirabai, and therefore he's doing it. The BJP, if it senses that there is an opportunity or there is an advantage to be gained by pushing a particular subject or underlining a particular issue, it will do it, even no matter how small the advantage, but it leaves no stone unturned. And therefore, it is there is more than an element of politics in this love for Mirabai. And as far as Mathura is concerned, Mathura and Kashi have been kept on the slow burner. After the 22nd of January, once the Ram Mandir is inaugurated, I'm not so sure if there is too much political mileage that can be drawn out of Ayodhya, because that issue is done and dusted. So there is a new issue. They are looking for new issues. Kashi and Mathura have been kept on the slow burner, and in times to come, they will be fast. They are slowly being pushed to the fore, and in times to come, they will be fast-tracked. And therefore, it comes as no surprise to me that they've discovered Mirabai, that the Prime Minister has visited Mathura. He could have gone at any time of the year. He could have gone even day after, on the 26th. But no, he's chosen this because no other political party can campaign, but he can, by virtue of being Prime Minister. And you can't fault him. He's gone there to inaugurate a Mirabai festival. But then in the course of that speech, he also mentioned the Congress. He also mentioned how the Congress had neglected. He mentioned Rajasthan. So obviously, the motive is clear.
If you look at the BJP IT cell and the way BJP supported websites, they are touting this visit of Prime Minister Sharadji. They are saying that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the first Prime Minister to visit the Krishna Janma Bhoomi and perform a little puja inside. Now, why is this being, I mean, is this some kind of an image enhancement? Because he has been going through a low period, and especially after this Panoti, campaign, which was seen in the last 4 days, and it is still trending on Twitter. So, is this some kind of a push as far as Modi's image is also concerned? That he being the first Prime Minister going to the Krishna Janma Bhoomi?
There has been a recent this is not a recent phenomenon. Modi has been embarking on this religious tourism ever since he took over in 2014. You see, whether it is Kashi Vishwanath corridor, whether it's Mahakal corridor in Ujjain, whether it is Ayodhya Ram Janma Bhoomi, everywhere. In fact, last week I was in Datia and Orcha. Everywhere they are creating means renewed infrastructure around places of worship. So the only thing which remained was Mathura. It's a contentious issue. Again, BJP supported advocates have gone to court challenging its sanctity and demanding that possession of the place. So that's apart, but going to a means disputed place at a time when the neighboring state is going to polls, I feel it is morally unethical. It may not be illegal, but is unethical. But for people who have been brand means campaigning as Javed Bhai was saying just now, they've been campaigning relentlessly even after the campaigning has ended. Means if there is it's a 4 or 5 phase campaign in a state, and if campaign has ended in one place, they will keep on campaigning in the other part of the state because it doesn't EC doesn't stop them.
Right.
And it is while people are casting votes, the campaign is being telecast live in the areas where they are casting votes. So this is morally unethical, but what to do when election commission turns a blind eye towards uh, videos of son of a union minister who's been openly talking of parking black money. So if this would have been a say some other party, the person would have been immediately put behind bars. You see, the Telangana is going to polls after a week, and yesterday ED raided a place in a minister, a senior leader, Congress leader in Telangana, who has been contesting, and the person incidentally was with BJP till about a month back. He hopped over to Congress, got a ticket, he's contesting, and he has been raided by the ED. So there has been a pattern. And most importantly, Chhattisgarh, the person who was being accused of, who had accused the chief minister and that he had given him 508 crore rupees or 538 whatever crore rupees. So he has clearly stated now that he was pressurized by ED to give a statement against Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel. So this is basically a propaganda machinery of the BJP, which is relentless and BJP and Prime Minister Modi is head of this machinery. So I'm not surprised. Now it's a kind of given that he is going to do such things, and that's what he's doing.
Right. But Pushpaj, do you see this as a regular pattern? Because when Chhattisgarh was voting for the second phase, Prime Minister had gone to Jharkhand, which of course shares borders again with Chhattisgarh. Now, at that point of time, he was attending an event on Birsa Munda. And people started criticizing him that, he's trying to influence the tribal voters. Likewise, similarly, for Rajasthan, which goes to polls day after tomorrow, and the areas which I mentioned, like Bharatpur, and Dholpur and all these areas. So do you see this as some kind of a pattern to influence the voters, where of course Election Commission seemingly is very, very quiet? Election Commission does send a notice to Rahul Gandhi for making comments like panoti and pickpocket, but it doesn't have the guts to send any kind of message to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So do you see something, do you see this as some kind of a political move also by the Prime Minister to influence the voting in Rajasthan?
Hi, Niluji. It's obvious that PM Modi does do this in a very tactical manner, and the Election Commission has been caught napping multiple times. I don't think that there is any doubt in anyone's mind about the instrumentality at work here. Whatever is being done to influence this thing. And of course, in doing this, he's violating the model code of conduct. The entire BJP propaganda machinery is working overtime to ensure that they circumvent the rules that have been laid down to ensure that there is a level playing field. If the BJP is violating this, the Election Commission should take action, but they won't take action, and we know what is happening. It's obvious. Every political commentator will do this. Now, what you said is very clear, but one thing that you forgot is that he's also doing this to influence the Rajput community in Rajasthan, who specifically reveres Mirabai as a saint, as do many other Indians, but also specifically the Rajput community. Now, the thing is that PM Modi has traditionally, for the last 9-10 years, leveraged cultural subaltern traditions to further the BJP's partisan goals. I mean, even in the recent Karnataka elections, you're talking about Jharkhand, they tried to leverage Kempe Gowda to influence the Vokalegas. In vain, but they tried it. Now, the thing is that in doing this, let's look at this slightly from a distance. In doing this, the BJP engages in historical absurdities. Let me explain why. Firstly, Mirabai was persecuted all her life for her religious beliefs. Secondly, she resisted that persecution with love and compassion. And thirdly, as a saint in the Bhakti Parampara, the Bhakti tradition, she was vehemently opposed to any religious fundamentalism. In truth, Mirabai has more in common with Rahul Gandhi and the Bharat Jodo Yatra, which also campaigned on love and compassion rather than the BJP. Plus, today, if Mirabai was alive right now, the BJP would have attacked her for fighting for her right to freedom of religion. And finally, because she was a widowed woman who was singing songs away from her, the BJP would have 100% attacked her as being anti-Indian sanskar. But let's keep that aside. Let's assume that PM Modi has a Hriday Parivartan. He's changed from his heart. And he's signaling to the BJP that, boss, nafrat chodo. Let's not be fundamentalists. Let people practice their faith. Maybe he's doing that. I don't think he's doing it, but let's assume, give him the benefit of doubt. But I'm more concerned about how all commentators, including us, we are missing the underlying issue. He's not just doing this to influence the Rajasthan election. Please, it would be very naive of us to think that they are doing something only focusing on the Rajasthan election. Let me be very, very categorical. The RSS and the BJP, we have Javed Saab here. You yourself would have followed this. They have traditionally held two things, the RSS and the BJP. Teen nahi, 3,000 nahi rahegi, ek mazhar. Not 3, but 3,000 mazhars or madrasas will be demolished. And even more problematically, ye to pehli jhanki hai, Kashi Mathura baki hai. That this is only the first installment in 1992, Babri Masjid. Kashi and Mathura are going to be next. This has been their ideological. Let me finish this. Yeah. This has been their ideological political issue for the past 15 years. And as someone was saying, our previous panelist was saying, they have picked up the Gyan Vapi issue in Mathura. Please follow what is happening in UP and Bihar. They are trying to vitiate the atmosphere, not just for 2024, but even beyond that. And the thing is, let's just think about this. 1992 happened. It marked a massive rupture in our secular fabric. Whatever the merits were of the settlement, which happened recently, it bestowed a responsibility on all of us that whatever happened in 1992 will not happen again. But here we are again. See, a lot of people in India, they said that, BJP used the Ram Janma Bhoomi movement. They used the demolition of Babri Masjid to come to power. It's not right, but all is fair in love and war. But now they will focus on development, nation building. But here, in this particular instance, in PM Modi going there, he's signaling to the BJP, the RSS, and the VHP that kickstart whatever you have been doing. You have my and the government's backing. They will continue to do this divisive politics. Is this just think about this? Is this how UP is going to grow into 1 trillion economy? Or any company, Indian or foreign, is going to invest in India if there is going to be such civil unrest? Because you think that you might think I'm talking too much, or I'm exaggerating. But this is what is happening. Anyone who's working in UP and Bihar will know that this movement has started his bugle call. He had just signaled to his cadre that shuru karo.
Right. Now, there are 2-3 important points which you have raised. One, of course, is the Rajput community that probably Narendra Modi is trying to address obliquely by going to the Braj Bhoomi and making a mention, and of course the birth anniversary of Mirabai. Javed, I'll come to you. That one, of course, is the Rajput vote bank. Second, what Pushpraj is saying, that this could be the battle cry of sorts, for 2024. Do you think that this really looks like, because of course the political utility of the Ram Mandir and all that is over. They will showcase all that in January, and then the story is done. So does this look like a new war cry for 2024 as far as BJP is concerned, that they will go after Kashi and Mathura. Yes.
I'm not so sure that they will use this in 2024 because they have Ram Mandir. And please brace yourselves. It's going to be a huge, huge affair. You know, when he inaugurates a railway train online, it's a big affair. Imagine when Prime Minister Modi goes to Ayodhya to inaugurate this. There'll be yatras and jathas from every village. There are plans to illuminate and light up and hold celebrations in every major temple of this country. Just count. Even the calculator will fail in counting the number of temples in this country. So there's going to be a mass major mobilization. My friends in the VHP and the BJP tell me the likes of, it'll be on a scale the likes of which we haven't seen in a very, very long time, or perhaps for the first time in this country. So like I said in my earlier submission, these Kashi and Mathura have been kept on the slow burn now. Ayodhya will take care of 2024, and thereafter there is political life even after 24. Kashi and Mathura will be brought to the fore. And the Prime Minister made a very significant remark in the course of his speech there. He says in times to soon, Mathura mein aur vyapak darshan hoga, that you will be able. So he's already hinting on what's to come. He's not a neutral umpire in this. He's already indicated which side he's on. This is a message for those in administration, for the judiciary, where this case is being heard, for everybody. He's lent his shoulder to that wheel. So he's not just looking, as far as the BJP and PM are concerned, 2024 is more or less done. They are looking at life ahead, and they are preparing for life ahead. They've kept Kashi and they've kept Mathura. I have very actively covered. I am amongst the few journalists who was there in 89, 90 when Mulayam was Chief Minister. For the first time, Babri Masjid was stormed. I've been to Ayodhya when Babri Masjid existed. I've been to Ayodhya after its demolition. I have covered this. I've covered the lead up to and the aftermath of the demolition. So I know what all this. And that time, whether it was Mr. Vajpayee, Mr. Advani, all the prominent leaders of the Hindutva Brigade, they kept saying that after this, no more. But there was people in the VSP, people in the Bajrang Dal, who gave us a glimpse of what was to come. They said, Abhi to Kashi Mathura baki, and like I said, Abhi to 3, uske baad 3,000. So now all that is coming to the fore. That grim sense of foreboding that everybody has had is now unfortunately is about to become a reality, and there's precious little. I mean, everybody is helpless. What can you do? The courts have suddenly decided to reopen the case, and if you go back in history, just turn back the pages. You'll see this is how Ayodhya the movement started. Suddenly, the idols were placed there. Then one fine morning, the gates were opened. And suddenly, out of nowhere, these very surreptitiously these things happened. On the face of it, they look very innocuous, but in the larger scheme of things, they played a very critical role. And this is what is likely to happen in Mathura and in Kashi.
Right. But Sharatji, if I may come to you now, after listening to Pushpraj and Javed-ji, will Modi prove his naysayers wrong again? And why I'm asking you this question specifically is that people like of late have been discussing that, the Modi brand is fading out. He's not holding that kind of charisma which he used to have in 2014 and earlier times. Now, if he picks up issues like Kashi, Mathura, and of course, after this low period where the Panoti campaign was weighing heavily on his personality, do you think that he's trying to give a message to his BJP IT cell also, which it seemed that it was a major setback for them as well? They had grand plans of, taking out a World Cup victory yatra. This is what I've been hearing from the journalists in Ahmedabad and elsewhere, that they had grand plans if India had won the World Cup. They were planning to hold a victory march along with all the players and the entire team on the streets of Ahmedabad. But all that plan has come crashing down. So is he trying to just give an indirect or rather a direct message to the BJP IT cell that wake up, we are not behind and we need to energize ourselves? Is he trying to give that message as well, apart from the politics of what is going to come?
Yes, whatever I have seen of Modi during last, say, 25, 30 years, there are few characteristics of his personality and his politics. One, he has a never say die attitude. He continues to make efforts till his last moment. That's one. Secondly, he keeps on campaigning, means even in personal life also. You will never see him digressing from his ideology. Whatever it is, even his personal talks also, he will not talk anything other than what he believes in. Thirdly, there is a distinct pattern in his politics, which one of his very close colleague told me long time back, that if you see his uh, governance, pattern of governance and elections from Gujarat to Delhi, there are three phases of his governance style. In initial 2 years after he forms the government, Modi takes harshest of decisions, means kind of turbulence. Then next 2 years, he'll keep things on a simmer. And in last 1 year, just before the elections, he takes few decisions or he'll make some decisions which will completely make the people and electorate turn around after him. So if you see 2019 also, there were similar sentiments that his popularity is on a wane and he might lose, and suddenly this Balakot happened and means he won. So you never know. Still, there are 6 months, and if you see the elections in Chhattisgarh and Madhya Pradesh, BJP was much behind Congress when the elections started, and now everybody is saying BJP has kind of caught up, not exactly overtaken, but they have somehow caught up with Congress. So there is a pattern to his elections, to his campaign, and I feel that you can't write a Mercia right away. So let's wait for another 4-5 months and see how things pan out.
So, Pushpraj, I mean, all the political analysts who keep saying that 2024 elections almost looks like an election which is going to be of issues, muddas, and Modi cannot rake up emotive issues. Will this be a big setback for the opposition as well? Because when the opposition is doing the politics on the basis of secular issues, price rise, inflation, caste survey, all these things are on the forefront, and then suddenly Prime Minister Modi brings in an issue like Kashi and Mathura to rake up the popular sentiment. How well prepared would the opposition be, according to you?
See, Niluji, I just want to briefly point to one thing about what Javed said earlier. I agree with his assessment that maybe they have put Mathura and Kashi on the back burner, but I wouldn't put it past them to bring it up before 2024 in case they feel that the Ram Mandir, the movement that they are planning is not really yielding dividends, which is very likely because it has already paid its dividends multiple times. So it may not have that kind of electoral significance, the Ayodhya campaign that they're going to roll out. And that's why they might pick up Mathura, because it's far more emotive. And the issue is that I feel that there is a general tendency in progressive forces, and I think this has got to do with the fact that the BJP has been very successful in caricaturing progressive parties as appeasing Muslims when they stand for secularism or liberals and justice and other kind of constitutional values. So in that sense, the progressive parties have this sort of Hamlet-like loss of self-confidence within themselves. Having said that, I completely agree with you on this one point. The opposition, the India parties will try very hard to ensure that the focus remains on core issues that are important to the people: roti, kapda, makan, sadak, bijli, pani, jaan, jahan, jivika. And they are completely working in the people's interest and the national interest to actually do that. Having said that, I also feel that progressive parties can no longer shy away from cultural, spiritual, and social issues that the BJP completely has a free run of. In shying away from tackling those core ideological issues that are so fundamental to the civilizational idea of India, if you shy away from tackling that front end, you simply cannot beat the BJP. And there is this other tendency in progressive parties. I'm not saying all of them are beset by this, but I don't want to name parties because there is, after all, an India alliance. But there are some parties who are now they have sort of they've just sort of ingrained this, that the only way to beat the BJP is to out Hindutva them. That is to punch the BJP from the right. BJP ko you can't beat from the right. You might put a tika on your head, but these guys are put bhasma on their head. You can't beat them. The BJP is a party that has the RSS, that has the VHP, that has the whole Bajrang Dal and the Sangh Parivar apparatus. They are far more effective in vitiating and polarizing the polity on regressive values. You can't outbeat them on those values. You need to take a firm stand on progressive values and draw a Lakshman Rekha that this is where we stand. We stand on principle, vote for us or don't stand with us at all. And I am 100% convinced that the silent majority of India is itching for someone to take that stand. They are waiting for someone to say that, boss, here we stand on principle, on the principles that India was founded on, and we will vote for you then. The silent majority is waiting. It is just one party that has to take that stand and everything will fall. But that confrontation is coming. That confrontation is coming sooner than we think.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is very, very visible. And for the concluding comments now, I'll come to Javed and Sharadji again. The point which Pushpraj just mentioned, does it mean that the battle lines will be drawn very, very harshly, very, very strongly from now on, especially if BJP has made it very clear that these are the emotive issues which is going to rake up for 2024 elections? So does it mean that the entire positioning of the India alliance also changes from here on after this war cry on Krishna Janma Bhoomi, Mirabai? So does India alliance needs a proper rethinking again? Because what we have seen in the recent assembly elections, that BJP has almost been playing on the Congress's pitch. Congress has been raking up issues and BJP has tried to answer on those issues. But does it mean that the narrative completely changes from here on, from this particular event of Krishna Janma Bhoomi and Mirabai today?
Look, make no mistake, the BJP's whole campaign, whether it's at the national level or at the center, national level or in the states, is based, the foundation of that campaign is Hindutva. So that's going to be there. Then BJP's campaign is going to be a very high voltage campaign, especially in view of the fact the religious quotient is going to be, it will be right up there in front of you. Can the India Alliance match it? No. So the India Alliance has to come up with answers, which come up with a narrative which is different. You don't have to be anti-Hindu. You know, the India Alliance should clearly draw a line, the line that Rahul Gandhi said. We are very proud of being Hindus, but that doesn't mean that we are followers of Hindutva. Draw a clear distinction between Hindutva and Hindu, and raise issues that people can relate to, that an average man on the street can relate to issues of bread and butter, of jobs, of unemployment, of people's rights. These are issues. Go take the Karnataka model. That's how.
Yeah.
Focus on issues and speak in a unified voice. Right now, I'm afraid the India Alliance has lost most of the momentum that it had generated when it was formed.
Right.
So December 3rd onwards, irrespective of the results, they have a mountain to climb to just regain that momentum, to regain that cohesiveness and agree on something. Right. I doubt very much if the India Alliance will speak in one voice, because everybody has their own view.
Right. Right. So, Sharadji, if I may come to you now for the last comments. So does it mean that 2024 election, whether it is BJP or whether it is the India Alliance parties, is it all about awakening the Hindu consciousness. Because, say, for example, Congress in Chhattisgarh and in Madhya Pradesh, they try to play the soft Hindutva card along with the secular issues. Now, is that a pattern which Congress relentlessly will follow in other states and in general when it comes to the Lok Sabha elections? Or are we going to see some kind of a change in the stance of the India Alliance as well as Congress?
Actually, BJP has made the other parties play on its pitch as far as Hindutva is concerned. And I was talking to a BJP leader whether he's going to contest the next elections, and he said he's from a minority community, and he said, I don't think I'm going to get a ticket. I said, but why don't you join a party from where you can get a ticket and contest? He said, nowadays, no party gives tickets to Muslims. So that is a dilemma not only means BJP leaders are facing, but Muslims in other parties are also facing the same thing.
Right.
So what you said is, that's right. Other parties are also pursuing kind of soft Hindutva ideology and campaign and posturings. So in such situation, it's very difficult for them to continue or maintain a clear secular campaign. So let's see how things pan out, because right now there are too many differences, as Javed Bhai just now said, too many differences among the India Alliance constituents. And until unless they sink their differences, I don't think India Alliance is going to pose a major challenge to the BJP right now.
Okay. So interesting times ahead, and well, a lot of homework to be done by the India Alliance as well as BJP. But one thing is for sure, that we cannot write off Prime Minister Narendra Modi, no matter how much the Panauti campaign gets elevated. But here is a man who is trying everything, to make him to sustain himself, to survive, and also give out a message that all those people who've written him off in many ways, he's very much there to stay. Thank you so much, Javedji, Sharadji, Pushpraj. Thank you so much for joining the debate. And one appeal to the viewers who are watching this discussion: subscribe to our channel, send us your feedback, and stay tuned to The Federal.
Subscribe to The Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.